What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Juice Wayne, and that is how you make a Gotham episode. As you guys know, in my first two reviews of this season, I have just said the first two episodes were okay, nothing really exciting happened in them, but this one is finally the first episode that I was like, okay, Gotham, okay, you got some good stuff going on. And I have to say, I do, just my opinions on this first episode, obviously the best episode of this season so far. But I will say that the first 30 minutes were kind of okay, nothing really exciting, but that last 30 minutes were really awesome. Honestly, this episode only consisted of two things, and that was Penguin versus Jim and Selena versus Harley. So we're gonna go ahead and knock out the Penguin Jim stuff first, because that was the least exciting stuff that happened in this episode, except for that freaking ending, which we will get to in a little bit. But yeah, so in this episode, we found out that everybody from the city started going to the GCPD territory because, they found out that they just saved some kids, there's places to live there, so they actually want to be saved, and they don't want to be living in these scary territories anymore. So all these people are starting to come to Jim Gordon as refugees. This movement actually starts hurting Penguin because he's wondering why his, choir people are starting to fall over flat on their face and why everybody's working around the clock, and it turns out that a lot of his people are starting to go to Jim Gordon's place too. Then of course that biker gang breaks into Penguin's compound and tries to take him out. They fail, and then Penguin threatens his right-hand man to, fix this thing or it's gonna be your head. We find out the next morning that everybody that was working for Penguin dipped out because they hated him. Technically, he doesn't find out everybody hated him until his right-hand man dies. Forgetting his name, Mr. Penn or something like that, whatever. That guy dies after they go try to get all their people back from Gordon. They put Gordon in a cage, and then of course everybody turns on Penguin, throwing him in a cage. Penguin and Gordon have to work together. Bada bing, bada boom. Penguin shoots some people, and he is now the lover and great man of Gotham. So as of right now, it looks like Gotham is going to put Penguin in that position where everybody is going to start worshiping him, and then he's going to be able to take over more of Gotham. This was my theory to begin with. I didn't think it was going to happen exactly this way, although we did see at the end of this episode, let's just get it out of the way, that there was a huge explosion at the end of this episode, basically killing everybody, it looks like a majority of people in the city with whatever these explosions were. We don't know who started them, we don't know where they came from. It was definitely shocking, which is why I was like, oh, that is a way you end a freaking episode. Before the explosion, we know that Penguin and Gordon were talking to each other. They're like, they're just kind of chatting. Barbara shows up and she's all like, move, Gordon, I will put a bullet in you if you don't get out of the way. Gordon's like, I'm not gonna let that happen. And right before it looks like she might shoot him or they're gonna have some kind of standoff, everything exploded, which again, I thought was really awesome. So this explosion is probably going to get anybody that survives or anybody else in the city to start thinking that Gordon can't protect anybody and Penguin is the new savior and should be the person that everybody goes to seek just salvation. Two things I want to point out with this storyline that is happening in Gotham right now is I really like the use of the gang war territory where, Penguin and some of these other gangs teamed up to go after Gordon. And, it's all about taking over territory or getting their stuff back, things like that. I really enjoy that aspect, and that's what this whole season really should be. It should be other territories trying to take over other territories. That's not something I really felt happened in the first two episodes. I'm hoping we see more of that, maybe with scarecrows or freezes or, fireflies, whatever. I just feel like there should always be territories trying to take over by other groups of, gangs. The second thing I want to point out is I don't like how quickly Penguin and Gordon go to always helping each other. I know there's like this underlining like friendship between them because Gordon didn't kill him in season 1, so maybe Penguin has this soft spot for him, but I don't like how they always build up these crazy storylines. You guys know how I hated the intro to episode 1 where they showed Penguin, Riddler, all these people working together to fight off this military at the, I'm assuming the episode before the 10-year time jump, but whatever. We see all these, people working together. I don't like that because everything that's going to happen from episode 1 to whenever that war happens is just non-existent. There's no drama. I don't have to feel like Gordon's not going to make it, with Penguin putting him in, dire situations, or these gangs saying like, oh, we'll kill you later, Penguin, or whatever. Because I know they're all going to make it to the future, and I know some people might be like, well, of course there's going to be a 10-year time jump, but just in the, you know, the confines of a story, you shouldn't be giving away that much information. So again, I didn't really feel like, I don't know, it just feels like they set up these storylines and there's not any meaning to them, because now what? We're not even probably even going to hear about that bounty anymore for Jim Gordon, because Penguin's like, we're best friends again, we helped each other, we're good, like, I don't mind that you shot me. I don't know, I just want to see this tension between Gordon and Penguin continue, opposed to them just being buddy-buddy, since he did shoot him. Like, Penguin is a very vengeful person, so I'm hoping that he still tries to put out hits on Gordon, although I feel like they're just going to kind of forget that part of the storyline, and it's going to be, you know, who can save who the most, or whatever. I don't know, whatever. That's the end of that Penguin storyline. Like I said, that explosion at the end, though, was amazing. Moving on to freaking Selina Kyle, because the majority of this episode was all about her. We saw her having the nightmares about Jeremiah. We saw her get her costume, which is, why was she wearing the hat just for being on top of the roof, and she never wore the hat for the rest of the episode? Kind of curious about that. She had her hair everywhere else. Why even bother wearing that in that one shot? Just me. But we saw Selena going to Haven to meet Bruce and ask him for his help. They actually had a little smoochy smooch. And yeah, and then that was followed by like, oh yeah, let's go do this my way. And they get into a fight with the mutant people in the dark zone. There was some cringy dialogue here. I don't know if you guys felt like that, but when Selena's all like, where's Jeremiah? Or what, I don't know, I just felt like that battle that was happening was kind of cringy, some of the dialogue in there. But, you know, she was beating the hell out of the guy. Bruce had to shoot the thing to capture her, and she was like, what the hell? All of that was fine. If you follow me on Twitter, I definitely talked about this multiple times, but I was talking about how when Selena and Bruce were walking to go meet Jeremiah, I was saying how just extra Selena was being, really. Like, she was on the cars all flipping and going backwards and doing all this. Just a completely unnecessary. Selena, can you stand on this ground with me and just have a conversation? I found Selena being a little extra there, pretty funny. So once Selena and Bruce got to Jeremiah's location, this is when the episode really picked up, because we learned it was the Church of Jeremiah, and I thought this was really awesome because we saw Harley Quinn, or Echo, whatever you want to call her, in her, like, you know, Harley-esque kind of suit with a robe and a mask, and other masked people in there, and then you had these kids that looked like they belonged in a Catholic school or just like a church where they were in uniforms, and they were just basically tributing themselves to be part of Jeremiah's thing. And people had to, you know, pay their respects or whatever. Then we only see a few of those people go back with Harley, and that's when Selena comes out and she says, like, I want to meet Jeremiah, I know him up close and personal, blah, 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 blah. And of course, Harley already knows who she is, so she's like, well, come on, child, and whatever. And so then they go out to that one circular pit where, you know, we saw in the previews where they were going to fight and stuff like that, and we see the Russian roulette-style table. Everybody is getting a bullet, and everybody's getting a gun. Now, I thought they were just going to play Russian roulette with each other, or everybody's going to try to shoot each other, but they went in this weird circle thing, and you didn't know if the person behind you was going to shoot you, and I thought that was really dope and really cool. And then we saw when Bruce was walking through the hallway, he saw a bunch of dead bodies. Those are obviously the people that don't make it through the game. And yeah, this was really insane and really awesome. Obviously, we see a few of them die, Selena doesn't. And of course, her and Harley begin to talk. And while they're talking, this was probably my favorite part of the film. I know the fight and everything was really awesome, but Gotham, I'm going to applaud you, because I know a lot of people are like, you're too harsh on Gotham sometimes. No, I just appreciate it when they do good things, and then I gotta call out when they do bad things. But here they did something really good, and they gave us the origin of Harley Quinn. Now, if you didn't pick up on this, that's because it was kind of subtle. It wasn't like hardcore, like, this is I fell into a vat and I became who I am. No, we found out that Harley has played the same game with, you know, everybody else, and she got shot in the back of the head, and she didn't die apparently because the bullet is still in there and it's rattling around, and she feels it when it's cold. This is awesome because it could definitely explain the sudden change she had in her personality, because we saw her in the first episode, which is kind of, I'm gonna be really curious to see if, I don't know why they even showed her in the first one. I know that they put her name, I mean, she put the ha 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 and everything on the map, but I just don't know if that was pre-gunshot or after the gunshot, because we don't really know what happened there. So I could have done without seeing her in that first episode, but either way, we got this origin of Harley Quinn. So she shot herself, and that's pretty much how she became what she is now, because a gunshot to the head is pretty serious. and that could definitely have changed the character. So I actually thought that was pretty awesome. It's a cool origin for a character, and you know, it's their own thing. You know, I haven't been a fan of the Jerome Jeremiah thing just because I feel like them getting the twins and doing all that, it's just been too much. They should have just done it all with Jerome, and they could have just brought in Echo, or they brought in a Harley Quinn-esque character that was in love with Jeremiah. I mean, I should say in love with Jerome. But we're here now, and this creation of this Harley Quinn is really awesome. And then she even went even crazier, and she did 3 clicks on the gun, and she was just like, you know, Selena was like, you're crazy or whatever. And then of course they start fighting, and it's actually a really entertaining fight. It doesn't last very long. There's some gunshots that go off. During the fight, we see Bruce get there. Harley stabs Selena, and she ends up escaping, and Selena's all like, you know, get out of my way, blah, blah, blah. Bruce is there, and he's like, you gotta stop this. We gotta get you to the hospital. And she ends up, you know, freaking cuffing Bruce to the door that Harley Quinn was able to get out of. And yeah, and then she ends up taking off. So I don't know where the hell she's gonna go on one leg bleeding out. So she's probably gonna patch herself up. They don't show us that. And then Bruce, yo Bruce, you know, you probably should have went to some escape artist training, because handcuffs, bro? Really? You're gonna get caught by some handcuffs? So that is where things are going to get left here on this episode, with Selena leaving Bruce, saying she's gonna do things her way. You know that she wants to kill Jeremiah, and then we'll see what happens in the next episode. She's gonna keep going after him. There were little tidbits of Jeremiah in the next episode. We saw the whole dancing scene with Jeremiah and Harley, so that'll more than likely be going on in the next episode. Again, I just keep calling her Harley. They're obviously making her Harley, but it is Echo or whatever. But yeah, I have to say that one of my favorite things was the, you know, slight origin that they showed us for her getting shot in the back of the head, and then actually exploding the whole Haven place. Like, I was not expecting that. I love things that are shocking and that you just don't know are going to happen in the show. And this has always been one of my biggest griefs, or gripes, or whatever the hell the word is, with Gotham, is they are like, they're a freaking a show that just does really good trailers, right? They do really amazing trailers, and they know how to make you feel like everything is really awesome. Like, I'll just tell you this. Go back and watch the episode, right? When you watch the episode, watch the beginning of the episode where they do the recap of the previous episode. That little trailer for the previous episode is really epic. Like, they made the show seem really dramatic, but when you go back and watch that episode, it's not as dramatic as that trailer shows. Genuinely go back and watch that, because look at the Riddler parts. Everything that happened with Riddler, they make it seem like it was really dramatic and like, oh my god, what's happening with Riddler? But in the episode, it was really dorky. So yeah, like, I don't know, Gotham has been amazing. They are really great with making very dramatic trailers, but they don't really transfer that to the show. And also, Gotham is a show that shows way too much, and so they take away a lot of the dramatics. Again, like I said, with the intro from episode 1, we already know that everybody is going to be like, oh, kumbaya, we're friends, we're gonna shoot this whole thing and we're gonna fight together. So anything that dramatic happens throughout the season, it's just, you're just like, all right, well, they're gonna be teammates at the end, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not scared of any of these characters dying, because we already know that they're gonna work together. Those are the kind of things that I think if Gotham wouldn't show them, if they didn't show Scarecrow all the time, if they didn't show Jeremiah all the time, when those characters were to show up, they would be as exciting as a whole building exploding. You'd just be like, oh my god! And I think that would have made the show better from season 1 to now. But, you know, it's whatever. That's my opinion. I thought this episode was way better than the previous 2. And yeah, I want to know what you guys think about it in the comment sections down below. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen my other content, definitely do check that out right here. Also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Gotham or Bat-tastic content on this channel. Of course, you got to turn on those notifications to be notified of that content. And also follow me on Instagram, because I'm always posting Bat-tastic stuff over there. Also, there's merch. But ladies and gentlemen, by day, I am your host, Juice Wayne. By night, I am Bat from the Box. But as always, Batman is awesome. See you guys next time.